What if I told you that you could go from not running at all to running a sub 3-hour marathon in less than a year? Okay, that's not realistic, but you can make some serious gains as a beginner runner. So make sure you stick around till the end of the video so that you can have the tools and be prepared to take your running. So a couple of months ago, I started an Instagram page with two goals in mind. One was to stop flooding my personal page with running content that most of my family probably didn't care about. And two was to share some of my running tips that I've picked up along the way. A little bit of humor thrown in there. And if you're not already following my Instagram page, go check it out. Links in the description. On that page, I got a lot of messages with questions from folks asking me about how to start taking their running more seriously and how to build a training plan to get them from not being able to really run at all to being able to run consistently without stopping. So in this video, I'm going to reveal 7 tips that I've shared with every new runner that I've had the privilege of training. First things first, whether you're a brand new runner just starting out or you're the casual runner making that transition to a more serious running routine, the tip and the trick is to start slow. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is the distance runner. For the new runners out there, you really want to start with the mix of walking and running to gradually build yourself up over time. The worst thing you can do is get outside and immediately just start trying to run as hard and as fast as you can, because you're just setting yourself up for disaster. Injury is inevitable. One plan that's been proven to work is the Couch to 5K plan. I know a lot of people who have used this over the years, and it's paid dividends for them in their running journey. So just Google it, and I'm sure you'll find a free version on the internet somewhere. The thing I want you to remember here is that your focus should be on time on foot. And what I mean by that is just getting outside and walking and running for set periods of time, not on speed. You should not be focusing on speed at this point. And until you can run for about 30 minutes consistently without stopping, speed shouldn't even be a focus for you at all. Tip number 2, let's talk about proper warm up and cool down. Now, I recently saw this reel on Instagram that said something to the effect of a runner will spend 4 hours running a marathon, but won't spend 5 minutes stretching afterwards. And now, it's pretty funny, but I have to tell you, it's not far from the truth. And I would be willing to put a paycheck on the fact that this is probably the most neglected part of any runner's routine. So never underestimate the power of a good warm-up and a good cool-down routine, because ultimately it helps prevent injuries and it keeps your body primed for the stress that you're going to put it under as you start to run more and more consistently. So take the time to spend a few minutes before your run doing some dynamic warm-ups like leg swings, squats, high knees, or butt kicks. And then on the back end, make sure you're spending a few minutes doing some of those static stretches, like calf stretches, hamstring stretch, and the quad stretch. Now, once this becomes a part of your normal routine, I highly recommend carving out a little bit more time to work on some mobility work. But at this point, it's all about baby steps. So set the conditions up front with spending a few minutes on the front end and the back end. And once you really get this thing going, you want to carve out a little bit more time to work on that mobility, because it's going to pay dividends for you in the long run, I promise. Tip number 3, invest in a good pair of running shoes. Now, I'm not saying you have to go out and spend $250 on the newest pair of Nike Alpha Flies, but you really want to spend some time looking into shoes that are right for the type of running that you're going to be doing and for your body type. Now, one common mistake I often see is that somebody's just getting into running, they go into their closet, they grab that old pair of basketball shoes that's been collecting dust for the last few years, they throw those bad boys on, and they go out and try to log some miles. That's the worst thing that you can do for yourself. Basketball shoes are not designed for distance running, and your legs are going to pay for it in the long run. So if you have a running specialty store in your city, I highly recommend going in there and having them take a look at your feet, trying on different pairs of running shoes, and finding the shoes that are right for your body type and the type of running that you're going to be doing. Because there's different shoes out there for the trails and for the roads, and you want to make sure that you have the shoes that are right for you. Tip number 4, variety. Mix up those running surfaces, folks. That means getting out there, not only hitting the road, but hitting the trails and hitting the treadmill, or the treadmill for those of you guys that hate getting into the gym and hitting the treadmill. This not only prevents boredom, but it engages those different muscle groups and increases your overall strength and agility over time. Now, last summer, while I was training for a marathon, I kept having this nagging pain in my Achilles tendon. I just could not figure out how to make it feel better. So I reached out to a friend of mine who's an avid trail runner and asked for some advice. And he recommended that I get out on the trails just to change it up a little bit and activate some muscles that I'm not ordinarily using for that repetitive pounding of the pavement. And I can't tell you how big of a difference that small adjustment made in my overall recovery and the strength of my legs. Tip number 5, hydration. Now, hydration should be a non-negotiable for runners. So whether that's carrying a water bottle during your run or ensuring that you have water staged throughout the course, you have to ensure that you're staying hydrated both before your runs and you're rehydrating after your runs. Now, when I say hydration, I'm not just talking about water, because one of the keys to hydration is electrolytes. And you have to ensure that you're both pre-fueling with electrolytes and you're replenishing those electrolytes after your run. Now, the supplement brand that I personally use is BPN Supplements. Not only are they delicious, but I really like what the company stands for. But at the end of the day, you have to find the supplement that works for you and that works with your stomach. Just trust me, as a runner, you don't want to mess around with something that's going to cause GI issues while you're out there on the trails or you're out there pounding the pavement. Tip number 6, recovery. Now, this may sound counterintuitive if you're a new runner, but your rest days are just as important as your running days. So you need to make sure that you're putting those on the calendar as well. Your body needs those rest days to recover and adapt to the new demands that you're going to be placing on it. So don't be afraid to schedule those rest days and make sure at the end of the day, you're listening to your body and taking those rest days when your body is just not able to get out there and do what you want it to do. Tip number 7, and my final tip, is to make sure that you're setting realistic and attainable goals. So whether that's setting a distance goal or setting a goal to go from running 2 days a week to 4 days a week, you have to ensure that you're setting goals that you can actually achieve, because that's what's going to keep you motivated to stay on track day after day, week after week. And there's no faster way to derail your running goals than to set an unrealistic goal that you know from the beginning in your heart of hearts is unrealistic. So set those attainable goals, set those small goals, and get out there and attack them day after day. So there it is, folks. Those are my essential tips to kickstarting your running journey. If you found these tips helpful, make sure to give the video a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you can get more of my running shower thoughts. And before you sign off, please share some of your 2024 running goals down in the comments so we can continue to build this community of runners. I truly appreciate all of you guys. Until next time, keep pounding the pavement.